Yes, question. Deal with this. How do we understand this? Digest it. Okay. So, okay. So the question is, even Brahmaji got attracted to sex desire and all that is mentioned by Prabhupada. So Brahmaji is our Acharya of what is the Sampradaya? Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya. So how do we deal with this fact? That's the first question. So we don't have to deal with it. Krishna is dealing with it. That is the first point. Is it not? So we don't have to deal with it. Krishna will take care. Is it not? Basically, how do we understand it? Uh, very specifically, it is very clear that Brahmaji is a post, and this Brahma is actually the Brahmaji who got attracted to his granddaughter, I think. Daughter or granddaughter? Daughter, not granddaughter. Daughter. Oh, Vak. Huh? So she was his daughter. She was his daughter, and he got attracted to his daughter. And so that Brahma is not the present Brahma of the universal affairs right now. That's a different Brahma being referred to. By the way, we all were also Brahmas at some point of time. Everybody's first birth in this material world is a Brahma birth. We must have really messed it up. And Krishna would be beating his head. That we must have done a great damage to the particular universe where we would have been made Brahma. Therefore, because of the blessings of that universe citizens, we have got such a condition. Is it not? So like that. But yes, so that was another Brahma which was being referred to. Our Brahma ji is a pure devotee that is mentioned in the Shastras. And a pure devotee will not fall. That is fine. I mean, that is there. Lord Shiva was personally orchestrated by the Supreme Lord. And whom Lord Shiva got attracted to? Lord Shiva did not get attracted to any mundane this thing. Because whenever the topic of Dhira comes, Prabhupada gives example of Lord Shiva. That Mother Parvati was approaching to agitating, but the Lord Shiva didn't got agitated. He's a Dhira. So uh, he's a Dhira. So he was not agitated. But then the Mohini Murti pastime is a special arrangement of the Supreme Lord. That's why it's a special arrangement of the Supreme Lord. That way. So in general, pure devotees will not get attracted. In general, like that, unless the Lord Himself orchestrates some episode and arranges them to teach some lesson or something. Otherwise, they won't. But all in between candidates are not exempt from this. Uh, that only applies to Mahabhagavad. And Mahabhagavad is not a self-proclaimed title or a self-assumed title. Yeah, actually, that Mahabhagavad, the title should be conferred by somebody like Vyasadev, or Sukadev Goswami. It should be mentioned somewhere in Bhagwatam, some Garud Puran, not mode of ignorance Puranas. Then one can understand that okay, such a person is a Mahabhagavad. So that's got the point. Na? See, the principle is even if one is very elevated, or one can be attracted towards sex attraction is so strong. Therefore, one should be very, very careful with sex attraction. Sex attraction is not something which one should take cheaply. Oh, it's an age phenomena. It's not an age phenomena, it's an encage phenomena. E-N-C-A-G-E, encage. No? Is it not? That is the only phenomena for engagement. No? It's not okay, we're youthful, we have some, it will go away. No? It is not going to go away. It will make us go away from Krishna. That is the point actually. One has to be very, very careful about this sex desire. So this desire has to be sublimated. The desire has to be purified. There is no channelization, dovetailing of the sex propensity. It has to be sublimated. So it has to be sublimated actually, because it is a very strong engagement, very strong engagement. And as a sadhaka, we should not risk or dampen our spiritual life by falling trap into this uh, roaring appeal of the sex desire. One should not give in to it. One should rather work hard to attach oneself to higher goals, the pleasure of Guru, the mission, the Sankirtan, uh, and uh, and save one's life actually. Save one's life. So therefore, Bhagwatam explains that the entire material world revolves around the sex desire. And therefore, Prabhupada saw all these material achievements, the ostentatious buildings, the technology, everything is simply a byproduct of sex desire. Nothing like that. There is nothing else to it. Yes, yes, yes. He's speaking something similar. He is a typical example of yeah. So he is typical example of a demon. In chapter 16 Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Krishna explains that the demoniac people says, "Anakkim anyat kama haitukam." What else can be a goal of life other than sex desire? So that is a typical characteristic and quality of a demon. And Sigmund Freud is an example of a. I mean, how do we understand that? We understand that very clearly from the definitions of demon and demigods, which is given by Lord Krishna in 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I mean, it's very direct. Kim manyat kama hetuka. Now, so this is the nature of a demon, is it not? That's why it should not be done at all. No, that's the point. That's why it should not be done at all. So rather, we have to understand sex life is such a thing, and it is so dangerous that unless one is very, 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 very super careful, it is going to very badly putrefy us. That is why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj used to say that if I had the capacity to produce pure devotee offspring, I would have had sex 100 of times and produce 1,000 candidates like that. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj used to say, if I have the capacity, if I am sure that I am going to produce a pure devotee, I can have sex 1,000 times and produce 1,000 pure devotees like that. But since I was not sure, I preferred to be a abstain from sex. Is it not? Like that. That's what he said. The point is, it's a very dangerous domain, and therefore, uh, that's why the straight injunctions of the Shastras say that you touch it only for procreation. That means once, twice, thrice, 4 times. It's your choice. Not more than that in a life. Because it is dangerous. If we take it with a bad consciousness or a wrong consciousness or not no, very, very sufficiently strong spiritual consciousness, it will putrefy us. Atogriha kshetra Sutattavittir Janasya Moho Yamaham Mameti. That's exactly what Srila Prabhupada is quoting. So the sex life becomes a hard knot, and then immediately one becomes attracted towards Griha, Kshetra, Suta, Apta, Vittir. So one wants a very big home. Bigger the sex life, bigger the home one wants. Uh, uh, One wants very big land, wealth. Suta means children. Apta, what is Apta? Followers, I think. Relatives, followers, relatives. Relatives. Vitter is wealth. And in this way, a person get entangled in ahamameti. Me and mine. This is me, this is mine, this is mine, this is me. So, uh, so sex life is a strong disease actually. So, yeah, so it's a strong disease. And therefore this hard knot or this is such a disease which has to be cut. There is no enough patch up no Savlon solution which you can apply on it and try to get rid of the uh, septic effects. So that is why uh, one should be very careful about this. Yes, it is like a marshy land. Yes, daldal. We can go. As Prabhupada is telling very strongly, one should be careful about it. Careful about it. Yes, yes. Our Brahmaji is a pure devotee. Yes, that's true. Vibhuda Sura Gandharva Muni Siddha Naroragaha Vijita Suryaya Dikshu Kwana Yantyaiva Nupurahe. While Shataduti was thus being married, the demons, the denizens of Gandharva Loka, the great sages, and the denizens of Siddhaloka, the earthly planets, and the Nagaloka, although highly exalted, were all captivated by the tinkling of her ankle bells. Puppet. Generally, a woman becomes more beautiful when, after an early marriage, she gives birth to a child. For to give birth to a child is a natural function of a woman, and therefore a woman becomes more and more beautiful as she gives birth to one child after another. In the case of Shataduti, however, she was so beautiful that she attracted the whole universe at her marriage ceremony. Indeed, she attracted all the learned and exalted demigods simply by the tinkling of her angle bells. This indicates that all the demigods wanted to see her beauty completely, but they were not able to see it because she was fully dressed and covered with ornaments. Since they could only see the feet of Shataduti, they became attracted by her ankle bells. Oh. which tinkled as she walked. Uh, in other words, the demigods became captivated by her simply by hearing the tinkling of her ankle bells. They did not have to see her complete beauty. It is sometimes understood that a person becomes lusty just by hearing the tinkling of bangles on the hands of women or the tinkling of ankle bells or just by seeing a woman's sari. Thus, it is concluded that woman is the complete representation of Maya. Although Vishwamitra Muni was engaged in practicing mystic yoga with half closed eyes, his no with closed eyes, no, not half closed eyes, it's fully closed eyes. His transcendental meditation was broken when he heard the tinkling of the bangles on the hands of Menaka. In this way, Vishwamitra Muni became a victim of Menaka and fathered a child who is universally celebrated as Shakuntala. The conclusion is that no one can save himself from the attraction of woman. Even though he may be an exalted demigod or an inhabitant of the higher planets, only a devotee of the Lord who is attracted by Krishna can escape the lures of a woman. Once one is attracted by Krishna, the illusory energy of the world cannot attract him. Yeah, so when we read the translation, when I was reading, I was wondering that what is so great in the tinkling of an ankle bell? Because actually, when buffaloes pass by outside our Seva Kunj, then also there is tinkling. Yeah, no, literal buffaloes. I'm not giving any metaphor or allegory. Then the buffaloes are, so the buffaloes are passing, to go to that nala ahead. Then also there is tinkling, tidding, tidding, tidding. They do, like that. Yeah, you heard that? That is ankle bells there also, like that, So I mean, what is so special in the tinkling of an ankle bell that one is everybody is here and there feeling attracted. So everybody is here and there feeling attracted, actually. And very interestingly, Prabhupada answered this question in the purport. Is it not? So what is so great in an ankle bell? Is it not? Even a child plays with some ankle bell type of khilona, no? It tinkles, ting, 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 ting. But you don't feel lusty after that, no? Obviously, the child abusers are a different case story. Uh, but I mean, uh, uh, the point is, I was wondering, even buffaloes, they also tinkle ankle bells. So, I mean, what is the point of attraction? So Prabhupada is explaining actually. The point is, uh, uh, you see this. The point is this craving of the heart, this enjoying mentality, which is pre-rooted in the heart. That is where the whole problem starts. So the point is this pre-rooted this thing in the heart, that pre-rooted the lust in the heart actually. So in fact, so now, and that comes in the form of expectation. So Srila Prabhupada is pointing out, you see what a shameful situation. These people wanted to see the uh, they were wanting to see Mother Shatadruti, right? Shatadruti. So they wanted to see Mother Shatadruti in a very bad way, and that's what Prabhupada is explaining. And that desire, you see lust, how ugly a shape it takes, is it not? That desire, they wanted to see Mother Shatadruti in a bad way, and they were only able to see her feet, and that's why they were getting attracted to the tinkling of the ankle bell. Is it not? So they were only able to see the feet, and that is why they were attracted by the tinkling of the ankle bells. So how shameful and how embarrassing this lust is, and how ugly this lust is it not? How ugly this lust, the whole game of this lust is actually. So that is why uh, one has to understand and accept the point that no woman of this world is meant for my enjoyment, including my wife. No woman, including my wife, is meant for my enjoyment. There is no exception. Wife is not an exception. There is no woman, including my wife, who's meant for my enjoyment. Uh, so that means that when it comes to sense enjoyment, actually, the Shastras are telling us that there is nothing what is legalized. You know, the enjoying spirit is always illegal, whether in marriage or outside marriage. It is always illegal, it is always illicit. The That's why the other day I was hearing one Prabhupada lecture. Prabhupada was explaining that, okay, what is the difference between sex in marriage, outside marriage? I don't know where we were hearing it together or I was personally hearing it. I don't know. But Prabhupada was talking about that as far as sex life is concerned, uh, in marriage, outside marriage, sex life is the same thing. It has a degrading effect. Uh, but what is the difference when a person is married? The difference is that marriage, the institution of marriage puts a very strong regulation and restriction on sex life. That restriction and regulation is what purifies. That's the point. Sex life is not purifying. It's not that in Grahastha life and the sex life will be purified. Nothing. Sex life cannot purify. Sex life is going to entangle us. Sex life is going to entangle us. But the regulations and the restrictions which are there in marriage for towards sex, that will purify. That's the point actually. So therefore, it is better not to gamble with this area because this is a very dangerous area, the sex area, like that. I mean, it's a very risky and dangerous area because that is the very basis of the existence in the material world, and very basis of the existence in the material world. Yes, it's an expression of envy. Expression of envy to Krishna. Yes. Oh, the point is that see the first. So what the question is? What about the case of Vishwamitra Muni? Now the point is Vishwamitra Muni was full closed eyes. You know? See, the purpose of closing the eyes are to open the eyes towards Krishna. You know? That way, the closing the eyes means closing the eyes from material affairs. That means what? We give up the expectation that there is some enjoyment in this material world. That expectation was not given up in the case of Vishwamitra Muni. So he felt still there is some enjoyment in this material world. Like that. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that is the thing actually. So, actually, Prabhupada explains that what is called as woman's beauty from a material affairs is a very relative term. It depends on how much lusty a person is. A lusty person, wherever he channelizes his lust, he'll find that woman beautiful. So a lusty person, he will find any woman, means wherever he focuses his lust. So that means he's lusty, and then he's thinking maybe this object, when this person can satisfy the lust, so then that person appears very beautiful to him. That way. So, so this is a very flickering concept, is it not? So beauty is a very flickering concept. So yeah, so this beauty of a woman is a fleeting concept actually. So that is why we have to understand that uh, nobody can actually satisfy. It's not that see and see for a man he has to understand that no woman can satisfy this I mean this the lust that hankering is so insatiable, no human being can satisfy. uh, and to explain to us the example of Pururava Maharaj is given, no? Pururava Maharaj, who is Pururava Maharaj? Yes, he enjoyed with Urvashi. Pururava Maharaj enjoyed with Urvashi, he did not get satisfied. He did not get satisfied even after enjoying with Urvashi. And because he was a pious person and he had practiced spiritual life, after enjoying madly with Urvashi and continuing to enjoy, he felt he got disgusted that my God, this hankering is not ending only. What is the problem? Thousands of years have passed by and still that hankering is not ending. Why this? How this hankering will end? And he understood this hankering is never going to end by feeding it. So he thought, okay, hell with it. I am going to the forest now. And only when he went to the forest and started offered himself completely to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he didn't got out of it till that point. So this lust is never going to be satisfied. And for a woman, again, the same principle applies. She has to understand that no man, whether he has pegs in his body, no pegs in his body, whether he has a big bank account, no bank account, whatever face cut or whatever, I don't know what is the cut, but some cut. So whatever face cut, he cannot satisfy. Cannot satisfy. So just like a poisoned hand has to be amputated, similarly, this desire is like that. It has to be amputated. So if we give up that hankering, that actually there is no satisfaction or pleasure in the body. One will not be able to overcome the. One will not be able to overcome the lust. So the chances are very clear. Lust is never going to be satisfied by experience. Lust will only be, lust only has to be sublimated by intense Krishna consciousness. It cannot be satisfied with an experience. So one has to be very careful. This applies for man, this applies to woman. When we see from the reference point of a man, we are saying woman, woman. When we see from the reference point of woman, we see a man. So now one will say, okay, if I don't look forward towards marriage, if I don't look forward towards children, what should I look forward towards? What should I prepare towards? And actually, the Shastras and the Achas are telling one should prepare for his death. And death is very soon going to come to each one of us, and we should prepare for it. Okay. Yeah. I mean, what are you doing? Time pass. Very soon we are going to die in due course of time. Is it not like that? What is the settlement plan? So all these settlement plans, security plans, well, they're going to remain as it is. We are only going to be knocked out. Better we prepare for our death. Is it not? That's a more intelligent person. He says, okay, I'm sorry. Is it not? So better we prepare for one's death. But okay, that is something more important. So just like that example of that, what island was that? Dissolute Island. So that desolate talent, that king, he forgot all enjoyment, everything, all right? He said, "Arey, I will not remain alive only, Baba." This is not. First, let me focus day and night and make my habitat for after, after being thrown off. So after being thrown off from that, so we may be a king here because, and we have some proofs. You see, I have king, I have got JE rank, I have got 8.9 point CG. Some people say, okay, I have got 30 lakh, 40 lakh salary. You see, is it not? So all this will not remain for long. Is it not? You know, yeah. How do you understand from one dead body and another? What is the resume which they were carrying? Is it not? So that is the point. So that's why one should awaken himself to one's eternal reality and not be lost into these shabby and complicated material affairs. Yes, 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 yes. So instead of putting the fuel of sense gratification into the fire of lust, one should put the water of Ghana Ganatvam by taking shelter of the Guru. So that that lust, yes, yes. प्राचीन बर्हिषा पुत्र शतदुत्यं दश भवान् तुल्यनामावृतः सर्वे धर्मस्तातः प्रचेतसाः. King Prachina Barhi begot 10 children in the womb of Shatadruti. All of them were equally endowed with a religiosity, and all of them were known as the Prachetas. So here the Mahabhagavatas enter the scene, is it not? The Prachetas. The word Dharmasnataha is significant, for the 10 children were all merged in the practice of religion. In addition, they possessed all good qualities. One is supposed to be perfect. When one is perfectly religious, perfect in the execution of one's vows to render devotional service, perfect in knowledge, perfect in good behavior, and so on. All the Prachetas were on the same level of perfection. Yes, commitment is commitment towards one's vows and practicing of devotional service. So you see, the Prachetas are not doing time pass with their life. They are not going to do any time pass with their lives. The Prachetas, right from the beginning of their life, they are searching for meaning and purpose. Therefore, and the way to search for meaning and purpose, tapasya, abstinence from material sense pleasure and indulgence in the service of the Lord. And that's what the Prachetas were doing. And that's why you see they became very celebrated devotees. Very celebrated devotees. Yes. Okay, so question is, what does it mean intensity of Krishna conscious services? Does it mean during Herculean services or one proper disciple Mataji, she was very simple, she went back to Godhead, or Sogo Krishna Prabhu went back to Godhead? So, see, in chapter 8, Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna tells that 24 hours remembrance of Krishna is the price one has to pay before entering back the spiritual world. The price which one has to pay for entering the spiritual world is 24 hours remembrance of Krishna. So intense Krishna consciousness means 24 hours remembrance of Krishna. So how much service one should do? Whatever service enables one to remember Krishna 24 hours. Yeah, like that. That is the point. So that is the point. It is not simple service or Herculean service. It is that the service has gone so deep in one's consciousness that one is not remembering anything else. That's the meaning actually. So the devotees who are being talked about, that they have gone back to Godhead, have exhibited that stage where they're not bothered about anything else other than remembering Krishna. So that's the point. So how does it get affected out? First of all, one should very sincerely follow the injunctions of devotional service, the do's and don'ts of devotional service. One cannot take it cheaply, is it not? How much should no? Uh, uh, and then whatever services are available around us, that one has to do more and more sincerely and seriously, and then grow from that point. That is the point, is it not? So that's the point. Like first of all, being very strongly situated in the full morning program, very strongly situated in our sadhana. So you see, it is said, Prachetas, they were following their vows very strictly. So this is our vow. Dhruv Maharaj was not ready to go back to Godhead without completing the morning program. Dhruva Maharaj was not ready to go back home back to Godhead without completing the morning program. That's how important is the morning program. Even back to Godhead can wait, not the morning program. You know? Yeah. He finished his morning program, finished his chanting, he finished his Bhagwatam class, he finished his offering obeisance to devotees, he finished his Mangalarti, and then he said, okay, now let us go. Okay, but 1 minute, what about my mother? That's sort of Dhruv Maharaj, So that's the point. So that's how important is the morning program. See how strictly the acharyas have exemplified that they want to follow their vows. Is it not? The same thing is very true. So our the principles and the injunctions of Krishna consciousness should be very strictly followed, like that. And then this becomes true of services also. Okay, whatever responsibility of services we own up, one should give one's life to execute that. Nothing doing. I have taken it up. I have undertaken, and now uh, come what may, I am going to fulfill my duty. Is it not? That is the point, actually. So, uh, then when we have this sense of responsibility, then that will give, that will internalize the remembrance of